Welcome to Signs of Life, exploring survival of consciousness. Brought to you by Forever Family Foundation. On the web at foreverfamilyfoundation.org.
I call your name. The echo is haunting. The echo is always the same. I call your name. The echo is haunting. An echo can never be changed. So I call your name. Your name.
Welcome to Signs of Life Radio's Medium Insights Hour, where we get to explore the mindsets of many accomplished spiritual mediums on a variety of topics related to the study of consciousness, spirituality, and the afterlife. I'm Roman Karpishka, your host. I'm very honored and privileged to have a conversation with a very talented and gifted medium. Her name is Nancy Marlowe. She is a certified medium with the Forever Family Foundation and a Windbridge certified research medium. After being a professional day trader for over 20 years, Nancy was saved by an angel in a horrific car accident and felt compelled to set aside her skeptical, analytical mind and begin an intense study of spirituality, metaphysics, and the paranormal. She later became a professional medium and left her job. Psychic as a child, Nancy grew up sensing spirits, intuitively knowing things other people just didn't know. She knew what others were thinking, what was going on, and even what was going to happen. Even though she was only 8 years old, Nancy realized she wasn't like other people. Feeling like a misfit, she closed the door on her intuition for about 40 years until she was forced by that car accident to accept what she had known as a child to be true, that we are loved beyond imagination by others that we cannot see. She is the author of Let Your Soul Shine. And over the years, Nancy has worked as a medical intuitive, a psychic matchmaker, a psychological profiler for attorneys and corporations, a psychic detective, and a forensic medium, helping doctors determine the cause of death. A remote viewer, Nancy has found bodies, oil, gas, water, silver, and platinum deposits. Wow, I should have her come to my backyard. Maybe I have some. And oh yes, dear listeners, today's show is conducted for research and informational purposes. So as always, your questions are more than welcome, but Nancy will not be doing any readings tonight. So, we're commercial free. So just, sit back, relax, curl up with a blanket, love one, have a drink on us. And let us stimulate your intellect for the next, 55 minutes or so. Okay. If you do have questions for Nancy, simply call 1-888-627-6008. That's 1-888-627-6008. And we'd be glad to have you on air and converse with us a little bit. So with all of that said, Nancy, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we had you on the show a while ago. It was like back in 2019. It's been like 4 years since we last spoke. What have you been doing for the last 4 years?
Well, I've been working. I've been doing readings. And my husband owns a biotech company, and I actually work with him. So I do that too. Company.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Where are you located?
Well, we just moved actually from Houston to North Carolina, and they're doing cancer research on humans in North Carolina and in Florida.
Very, very nice. And are you experiencing good weather there at this time of year?
It is so beautiful here. I couldn't believe today. It was sunshiny, and there's rolling hills here, and there's fall foliage, which, being from Texas, I have not ever seen.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm very happy with the beautiful red and gold trees here. It's just beautiful. So, yes, we have good weather right now.
I can't say the same for us. I'm in Albany, New York, which is about 2 hours north of New York City. It's the capital of New York. And it's been a cold, like 44 degrees, over cloudy, rainy, drizzly. Yeah. Not too great. Not too great. But, we do get nice, it's very nice at Christmas time with all the snow and everything. And I'm a ski fanatic. My whole family loves skiing, so we do a lot of that. So kind of looking forward to that. I gotta love something in the winter,
Well, yeah. Well, my son lives in Montana, and they all ski. They ski, and I got pictures from him today where he'd gone hiking and took his two sons. And nice. They actually saw elk tracks, and they actually saw a mountain lion track. He sent me a picture of it.
Fantastic. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So, hey, you have an interesting background. So this accident is what led you to being a medium. I mean, it really started your spiritual path. So can you elaborate on that a little bit and tell us how it began?
Well, I've always known things I shouldn't have known. I just knew things that other people didn't know, but I just kind of lived with that and didn't think much of it. But as an adult, when I was in my 40s, I was involved in a terrible car accident. A Brinks truck rear-ended my car, and I should have died. My doctor told me that I had to have surgery on my cervical spine, and I have a stainless steel plate in my neck. And after the surgery, he told me that I shouldn't be alive. He said, "We don't know why you're alive." So, but before he did the surgery, when he was showing me the X-rays and the MRI of my injury and telling me how bad it was really frightening. When I saw those MRIs of my cervical spine, I heard a voice that was just as clear as your voice, a man's voice, that said, "Don't worry, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about this, you'll be fine." So I'd never heard anything like that. "Don't worry, you're going to be fine." Just that clear. And so I didn't worry that much. And right before surgery, when they were getting ready to roll me into the operating room, there was a nurse standing by me, and I said, would you pray with me and ask, God to help heal me? And so she did. I had the surgery, and then after the surgery, I was lying on the gurney, and my doctor was standing there. He had just come out with me, and he just said, he was just shaking his head, and he said, "We don't know why you're alive. We don't understand it." Wow. He said, "This was worse than the MRI. This was worse than we thought it would be." And I was out of the hospital in 2 or 3 days. Now, it took me about 2 years to heal from. It was such a bad accident. It took me about 2 years. But
2 years,
during that time, I started reading everything I could because I knew I had been saved, like miraculously, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I heard such a clear voice, and I started getting premonitions and insights that were extremely clear, and so I just started studying the whole time during that 2 years. I studied. I went to meetings. I went to workshops, and learned all I could. And then I started doing readings, and they were pretty much right on. So I got to where I could I have all of the clairs. I can hear it and see it and sense it. And there's one called claircognizance, where you just know things. I just know things, and I don't know why I know. It's people say, "How do you know that? You're not an engineer, or you're not a blah, blah, blah." But, yeah.
That's really cool. Hey, you know what? We have a caller. Yeah. Would you like to take a caller? We have Lisa from Florida on line 2.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am just really happy to be here.
We're happy to have you.
And can you hear this echo on my phone, or can you hear me clearly?
We hear you pretty clearly.
I hear you clearly, yeah.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'm a first-time caller, and so can I ask any question? Can I?
Well,
I ask you?
We're not doing any readings today. But this is like a forum to find out how mediumship works and what are the tricks and what goes through a medium's mind and anything, related to the study of mediumship or spirituality or consciousness, or those types of questions are much, they're very welcome.
Okay, wonderful. So I would like to ask you a question then. 6 months ago, I lost my daughter. She passed away. And I have... Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. And I have had some experiences where she has come to me in my dreams, and I've had experiences where I know she is near me. But if I wanted to really work on increasing my ability, my mediumship abilities, because I feel like a door has been opened, and I wanted to explore mediumship and psychic abilities that I feel might be growing inside of me, what would you recommend? How would you recommend I get started?
Great question.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I know when I was ready to learn and felt called to learn, the first thing I did is I went to Amazon, started ordering books, and I had them just stacked around everywhere. And so start reading, start attending workshops. If you look in your area, I'm sure you can find some meetings of other like-minded people, and start that way. Start enhancing your ability, and your ability will grow through experience and through use and through knowledge. And the more you use it, the stronger you'll be. Okay?
Okay. That sounds great. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And Lisa, I've also recommended to people to sign up for. Google this gentleman. His name is Victor Zammit, Zammit. He's a lawyer from Australia, and sign up for his Friday Afterlife reports. All you do is you provide an email address, and every Friday, actually, it's going to be on Thursdays if you're in North America, because Australia is on a different time zone, but they're called the Friday Afterlife reports, and it's loaded with a bunch of videos touching every facet about spirituality that you can imagine. Videos and resources and books, and it's really, really good. So I would totally recommend that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. I will do that. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome, Lisa.
Choquette also had some good, when I was starting out, Sonia Choquette and Van Prague has some good information for you to read, too.
Yep. And even on Forever Family, the Forever Family Foundation, the website has a plethora of books and readings, and there's radio show, podcasts. There's a lot of information there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Lisa. And again, our condolences about nobody should bury their child. I had to bury my son also. And it's not easy.
Right. Yeah, definitely not. Thank you. Yeah.
You're very welcome. You take care, okay? And thanks for the call.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a great day. Yeah, so we were talking about your how you started and knowing things that you weren't supposed to know, and that's pretty interesting. And then I guess you just dove into it, like you're telling Lisa just now, you bought books from Amazon and just increased your knowledge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You increase your knowledge. Anyway, I was almost driven by it. And I just became, I don't want to use the word obsessed, but that's really what it was. It was so remarkable to me that I wanted to understand why.
Did you have doubts at first? Did you have doubts at first? Because I know that, you have that inner voice in your head that says, and it's really ego related, that says, no, it's just your imagination. This can't be happening.
No, I didn't.
You had no doubts?
No.
Okay. That's
no,
great.
Occasionally, even now, I might doubt something if it's my intuition, but I can tell you how to get over that. When it is your intuition or it's your guide or whatever, they keep repeating it. They're persistent with it. It doesn't just flicker in and out. It's push, push, push. So that's one way to get over that. But no, when you're really picking it up, I just know things. And people will argue with me, and I'll just say no. And sure enough, it will prove to be right. So, no, I should say maybe at first I had more. Occasionally I have it now. If I'm busy about the house or busy working on something and I get an intuitive hunch, I'll cast it aside, but then it'll nag me. It'll come back, and I start paying attention to it. When I really turn around and concentrate, I go, oh, okay, I hear you. Because they talk to me all the time. They show me things all the time. I get visuals. So it's kind of hard to ignore that.
Can you turn it off at will? Like, sometimes you don't want to be bothered by spirits. Sometimes you just, you need your time to yourself. Private time.
That's a good question. Yeah, that's a really good question because I just feel bombarded by spirit knows you can hear them and see them, and they're desperate for you to deliver a message for them. So it's almost like that funny show, that comedian from England, what's his name, Ricky Gervais or something? I don't know his last name. I think it's called Afterlife. Anyway, he gets hit by a bus and comes back alive, and he can see and hear dead people. Well, they just follow him. He walks down the street, and he's got this huge crowd of people following him, and they're dead people trying to talk to him, and he's the only one that can see him. Well, that's the way I feel sometimes. They're just everywhere. So I have learned, in a sense, to encapsulate myself and my mind and my soul in like a bubble, or in like a bubble of golden light, or to just turn it off. Or if I have a discarnate that's extremely persistent, I just say, no, not now. I can't talk to you now. Go away, please. I need private time. Because if you don't learn to manage that, it's overwhelming, and it's tiring, and it will make you sick, physically sick, because you're losing too much energy. They're taking your energy. They're taking your mind. They will go into your dreams, like Lisa just called, and her daughter had already visited her in her dreams. You can't sleep at night. So you have to be able, if you do this on a consistent basis and you're surrounded by it and you're as open to it as I am, you have to learn to distance yourself so that you can rest and take care of your own body, take care of your own soul. That way, when you do open up, you're ready for them. So
do you ever have more energy. Do you ever have any, like, I guess, spirits of a lower vibrations that try to contact you, like bad spirits or anything like that?
Well, that's a good question, too. I was so happy to be alive after this accident, and I heard the voice, and I see angels. So I believe in the light, and I believe in a holier good. So I've always pulled that toward me. And have I seen and felt negative? Yes, I have. It doesn't happen to me that often, and I don't invite it. I don't go looking for it because I really don't want it in my life. I don't want it in my family's life or people I know's life. So I turn, if I have a hostile energy or discarnate or spirit or whatever, if I have that's trying to ask me to leave a place or that comes in and wants to take over, I just stand my ground and tell it to leave. So I just say leave, because light is stronger than darkness.
And they comply usually?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes it has been difficult. I've had to do it 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
But I have to tell you, I have found that light is stronger than darkness. You just stand your ground. Get out of here. You're not wanted. Leave. This is my place. You're not welcome here.
So there's nothing
I don't invite it.
So because you know that, and you know that light overpowers darkness, that you're not scared of it, and there's no reason for it to scare you or anything like that, because you know you can turn it off and you can turn them away.
When it first happened, when I realized it the first time, it did frighten me at first, because I could sense that it was there. I could sense the evil. I could sense the harm that it meant to do to me, or to my home, or to make me leave, or wherever it was happening. I could sense it, and it did frighten me. It will frighten you. But the thing is that once I realized and owned it, that light and goodness is stronger, you can compel anything to leave. You just named it.
Well, that is good to know. That is good to know, because sometimes even us non-mediums might get a creepy feeling or something like that.
Sure.
The hairs on the back, like at the back of the neck raise, and you just feel out of place or out of sort. Sometimes you might want to you will walk into a place and it just feels not inviting, and it's good to know that you can, that light overpowers darkness, and you have really nothing to worry about if you know that, like at the bottom of your heart, you know that light will overpower it, then you're going to be safe.
Yeah. Well, it fears light. The dark fears the light. And there's a couple of little tricks, like you can play uplifting, beautiful music. It doesn't like that. You can actually bless it yourself, water, and you call it holy, and just go spray bottle and spray that bottle of water around your room, wherever you don't want it, and just bless the room. It does not like anything that's of the good. Okay?
Right.
So
very interesting.
After a while, once they know that about you, they don't bother you very much.
Speaking about spreading stuff in the room, have you heard of a lot of mediums and spiritualists use sage? Have you ever used sage?
Yeah.
And what is that?
I have a few times. Go ahead.
You have a what? Have you ever used sage?
It a few times.
Do you use it? Do you use it in your practice or anything?
No, I don't use it. I don't like the smell of it. It's rather strong smell.
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this professionally for about 25 years, and my mind and my soul or whatever is pretty strong. It's pretty powerful. So I don't need that for myself. I think that it's comforting. I think that it is comforting to the person who uses it. Okay?
Okay.
That's what I think. It's more of that.
It's more for the person than for the spirit.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with using it if it makes you feel good to use it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's interesting. Do you ever receive any communications from your loved ones in spirit?
Oh, yes. I do all the time. Every other day. All the time.
Oh, well, that's great.
Yeah. We just moved. I'm unpacking some things, and I've been handling objects that my parents gave me, or my grandparents, and of course touching them. But no, they talk to me all the time. My father has been one of my guides, and when I first started doing this professionally, he showed up at every reading I did. So, yeah, I hear from him all the time.
Well, that's wonderful, because I've heard mediums that are that say it's a little bit tougher because of the closeness. They're less objective because they're involved and they can't receive. So it sounds to me like you're a true receiver. You're a beacon for these spirits. So you don't have to worry about anything when it comes to communicating with loved ones. They just come right to you. That's great. That's awesome.
They do. Yeah, I see them all the time, and It's comforting. Yeah, yeah.
Hey, why is it? I got a question for you. Why is it that mediums seldom describe what the afterlife is like? And I don't know if that applies to you, but I mean, I've interviewed a lot of mediums and I've read a lot of books about mediums, and there's only a handful that really try to dive in and paint a picture what the next world is like. What's your take on that? Do you subscribe to that? Do you get a glimpse of what the afterlife is like, or is it just just communications with spirit that you receive?
Well, I'm a clairvoyant, and then when I do meditation, part of my meditation is I go out of my body and go up into the heavens, and so my soul and my spirit soars through the heavens with the spirits or the angels or the guides.
Okay,
and
so I'm glad you said that. What do you see? Tell us, what do you see when you're there?
Well, it's just beautiful. When you can imagine flying or soaring through the dark sky with stars everywhere, and seeing and feeling spirits or angels or other souls that love you and that want to be around you. And then also, I do know that I have seen on the other side, there's different levels of learning and understanding and environments on the other side.
Some say it's like 7 different levels.
I don't know how many there are. Just know there's a bunch of them. One of them is a learning level where you learn. And they have guides and teachers there that teach at different levels depending on what you need to learn, how you need to be enlightened. They have great libraries of knowledge. I mean, in my mind, I'm seeing a library like a Greek library. The guides are in togas. But if that's my mind of how I'm seeing it, that it's to learn, it's to teach you so that you can become more enlightened and move on to be. Our purpose is to become love, just like our Creator. And so we have to learn and lose all of our negativity or our things that are holding us back. We're at different levels of learning and enlightenment.
Right. Yeah. And it has to do, I guess, with the vibration. The more enlightened you are, the higher your vibration rate, I guess. And then you soar to higher levels. That's what I've read from many different books. One particular. I
don't know about the vibration. What is that? One book? What?
One of the best books that I've read. It's a free PDF download if anybody's interested. Probably the best book that I've read about what it's like in the afterlife is the Monsignor Hugh Benson. He was a Catholic Monsignor, very strict and strict uprising and all that. And then he passed away, and then this medium by the name of Anthony Borgia, I believe is his name, Borgia, did, what's it called? It's through writing, automatic writing. And so Hugh Benson contacted Borgia, and Borgia wrote the account of what Hugh Benson is seeing now in the afterlife. And it's quite a vivid description of what it's like. And it was very fascinating. So I think it's called Life in the World Unseen by Anthony Borgia. Okay. For anybody that is interested, it's just Google it. It'll be you get a free PDF download and just read it. It's a very fascinating read. I found it really quite interesting. And it kind of describes like what you described with the libraries and the togas and like these big buildings with pillars and all of that, which house libraries and these buildings of knowledge. It's all in there. It's kind of cool. So what you just like. You saying that kind of prompted me to remember that book that I read, which is really cool.
Well, that's interesting. I didn't know anybody else was seeing that. That's interesting that you're saying he's seeing that. That's great.
Yeah. Check it out. Anthony Borgia, Life in the World Unseen. And it's, like I said, it's free. This book was written like 100 years ago, but really well written. written, very well written. It's only about 150 pages long. It's not very long. I think there's a second part to it. I'm not sure. But the first part was really good, really, really good. And it was all done with, automatic writing, where Anthony Borgia just wrote what Hugh Benson dictated to him, pretty much.
Okay.
So,
that sounds good.
Yeah. So, when you do a sitting, I'm assuming, I know that you're very good at what you do. You're certified and you're the real deal. So you have a lot of clients, I'm sure. And let's talk about your readings. Do you, like, when you sit down with a sitter, do you ask them, like, who would you like to connect with, or you just, let things play out the way that they're going to play out?
Well, most of the time, people know who they want to hear from. So I don't want to waste somebody's time by bringing in somebody they don't want to hear from. I want to bring in the person that they're really there to. Sometimes I'll say, who would you like to hear from? Because you'll get the most out of your reading. I'll spend all my time bringing in information from them and not from the woman across the street that you barely knew. Okay? So sometimes I ask them a lot, and sometimes I don't. Sometimes it depends on the discarnate. Sometimes the discarnate is just right there, and I just start saying, I'm sorry, but I have somebody here. And it's usually somebody they know and they're really familiar with. So I've done it both ways, I'm very conscious of the sitter, the person who wants the reading, and I want them to be happy with their reading, and I want them to get the most out of their message, and I want to use their time, the best I can for them. So
of course.
Usually that's what I do. I can bring in all kinds of people, but it might not be the very person that they wanted to hear from. So,
right. And I guess a big part of it is especially with new sitters, is probably validating, right? So you're giving them information that, like, how would you know that information if So you're validating that, yes, these people are actually there. The discarnate are actually there.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Do you do in person? Do you prefer in person, or do you prefer over a phone call or a Zoom call? How do you do this?
Yeah, both ways. I can do in person or over the phone. I like to do in person. I like to do that. I like to be around the energy. People like to be around me because when I tap into that energy, they can feel it. It makes them feel good. I tap into the light and I tap into the energy of the person coming through, and they really feel connected. So it's very personal, an in-person reading. But I also do the phone readings are just as good. You pick up just as much information. The thing about the in-person reading, you can look at the person in the eye, you can feel their energy directly, and they can feel your energy directly. You can feel it over the phone too, but it's not like having somebody sit across the table from you.
Right, in person would. Yeah. You know what? A lot of mediums say it doesn't make a difference, but I think what you're saying, it holds a lot of weight. Being there in person. I mean, I've had readings over the phone. I've had readings in person, and the in-person stuff is just, you've made the effort to go there. You got a lot riding on it. So that there's just more effort on both sides, really. So I think the results will be better, but that's just me. A lot of mediums will disagree with me and say, no, I do it on Zoom and it's just as good. Energy is energy. It's not, it's not isolated to anywhere. But I think what you just said about, tapping into someone's energy, if they're there beside you, I think it's better. It's easier.
It's like doing a business meeting. A face-to-face meeting is more effective than an email. Okay, you can say the same things, and it is energy, but there's something about face-to-face with me. So I prefer that, but of course that's not always feasible.
Now, for your sitters, before a session, do you suggest anything to them, like how they should prepare for the reading, like to get the most out of it?
Yes, I ask them to invite the person that they want to hear from. I ask them to invite them to come. Tell them when you're going to have the appointment. Tell them that you'll be there and ask them to please come and please talk to you. So I found that prepares them. And then when they call, I go through, or I see them in person, either way, I go through a little meditation exercise where we invite them together and where we clear the chakras and where we surround ourselves with light. We open our souls up. And that I have, one reason I do the meditation is many times sitters are nervous. They're so anxious and they've been looking forward to this. And once they start doing the meditation and get in the light and get it there, they just calm right down and they're just ready to receive the information. They open up like a flower. So yeah, that's what I do.
That's great. I mean, it makes it easier, I guess. The calmness and the openness is good. Do you ever get sitters that are like highly skeptical? And does it affect the reading?
Yes, it does affect the reading. When you bring negativity in there, it does. It can affect the reading, depending on what they're projecting out. So I've done. People are going to be skeptical, and you have to be aware that they are. And the only thing you can do is do your job, bring in what you can bring in, and bring in facts that they can verify.
Right, validation.
Validation. Anytime you can bring in a fact that can be validated, that is what eases the skeptic's mind. Now, as you say, do skeptics ever shut down a reading? If they're a really strong skeptic and they shouldn't have even come in the first place, they can. I had a reading several years ago, and it was the whole family came. A young man had died, and so his brother and his brother's wife and his mother and his other brother came to the reading. So there was a whole group, the whole family was there. And I kept trying to pick up and to invite the dead brother in to talk. And we're just picking up bits and pieces. And I could feel the energy of the skeptic coming across the table. I could feel the energy, the dead energy in the room. And finally I said, and I tried, and I said, I don't understand this. And I said, is there somebody in here that really doesn't believe in this, that really didn't want to come? Well, the brother, who was a skeptic, and his wife said, well, we don't believe in this, but Mother made us come. And I said, well, you're affecting this reading, and I would invite you to leave so that your mother can get a reading. And do you know, after they left, the dead boy came in just like boom, 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 boom. And I read for them because the brother had interrupted it for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. I went ahead and read longer for them because the information was really coming in, and he had died a mysterious death. And so everything was cleared up. So, that one time in particular, he was so skeptical. His negative energy affected the room. Yes. Yeah. So if you're that skeptical, I don't know. I don't know how to. That's what happened at that time with me. If you're mildly skeptical, like I don't believe it, most people are not aggressively rude in their mind, but this man was. So it did affect it. I guess I was picking up on his negativity.
Yeah,
I don't know.
There is, being an open-minded skeptic is fine because Yeah, I think being an open-minded, being skeptical but open-minded,
That's fine.
That's fine, yeah. But if you're closed-minded and there's no way, and this is all BS, and then nothing's going to get through.
Yeah, that's what that was. He really shouldn't have come. But like you said, I mean, I've had. It's usually the man that's skeptical, but sometimes it's the wife. I've had husband and wives come, and the wife will bring the husband, and he's really skeptical, and then that doesn't bother me at all. He's there. He's open-minded. He's not aggressive or hostile or anything. That doesn't bother me. No.
So, how many readings? I mean, it probably drains you of energy to do these readings. So, how many readings can you do in a day? Or have you done in a day? Or typically, what do you do in a day? How many readings do you normally do in a day?
Well, when I first started out and I was learning, I used to work psychic fairs, and I would do 16. Boom, 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 boom. And they were short readings. They were like 20-minute readings. And somebody would come in, and I would sit down and start reading 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And so I'd read all day long, and so as it progressed over the years, and I started doing hour readings, of course I can't do that many readings. So, as the years have gone by, I have found that actually I would do 2 or 3 in a day, and then I might skip a day before I would do any, because I need to rest from that, doing the 2 or 3 readings. It's very energizing to do them when you're doing them.
Wow.
It's very energizing, but after it's over, you are tired.
I'm sure.
Kind of, it's like performing something. I guess a singer would be exhilarated while they're singing, and then they would be tired after the performance. So it's kind of like that. So,
right. But I mean, you must get a sense of satisfaction after a successful reading that you've helped people, and yeah, absolutely.
I do. I feel very grateful that I can do this. I feel like people that can do this really. I feel like it's a great service to people who are grieving, or even if it's a psychic reading, it helps people so much. So it's an honor, and I'm grateful that I know how to do it. I feel a responsibility, a great responsibility, because it affects people's lives so much.
So I'm going to ask you, what are some of the things that you like most to having? Like, what do you enjoy most about having your psychic mediumistic abilities? I like being connected to spirit and to the angels and to the other side. I like that. I don't feel alone. I don't feel afraid as I would be if I didn't have them. I feel very comforted. Excuse me. I feel, I think I like that. I like knowing that I have this wonderful love and protection around me. I like knowing that my parents or other people on the other side are around me. I like knowing that I can sit down and connect, and I can be here on Earth, 1 foot on Earth and 1 foot on the other side. And I kind of operate that way all day long throughout my whole life. It's kind of having like dual citizenship. Right. Actually, I'm half Canadian. So I have dual citizenship, but in the real sense, I guess.
You have the real thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm originally from Montreal, so but I've been in the States 27 years already. So, and it's been a while. I married my wife who's from here, and it just made more sense for me to come here because She doesn't speak a word of French, and in Montreal, you got to speak French in order to make a living. You know, it's pretty French.
Oh, yeah.
So it just made more sense to come down here. So, and I'm happy I did. It's a great place. I love Albany. It's great. So,
Well,
anybody? Yeah. Hey, anybody in your family, like, anybody else like in your family have these abilities? Was it passed down from your parents or anything like that?
My aunt had some. My brother and sister have some abilities. I have a daughter who is very strongly connected. She can see discarnates, and when she sees them, when I see them, you can see right through them. You know, you can see through them. They're wispy looking. When she sees them, they look like solid. They look like a real person.
Really?
She told me the other day we have a steel gate that goes around our backyard, you know, an wrought iron gate. And she said, Mom, I just walked outside and somebody was coming through our gate and they turned around and waved at me, a great big man. And she said, and then he disappeared. And I realized it was a, dead person.
Is she, she a medium also? Does she practice mediumship or?
She doesn't practice it. She just tells me about it. And I don't work on cold cases anymore, but I used to work on a lot of cold cases, and they would come to her, especially if it was a young person. So, yeah. Yeah, my daughter is extremely strong in it.
Is she dealing with it okay? Is she fine with seeing dead people?
She doesn't. She's fine with it. She understands it, but she doesn't want them in her life. You know, she scares her, and they scare her because she doesn't know they're dead when she first looks at them. They look real, you know. So it'd be like somebody walking in your house. I mean, she thought this man was walking in her gate. And so when I see them, I know it's a spirit because, like I said, they look like a hologram. You know what holograms look like? At Disney, yeah. They look kind of like a hologram to me. So, but no, when she sees them, they look like a person. So,
I've heard a lot of mediums say that once they've embraced their gift of seeing that, discarnates, then, the fear goes away at that point. Because if you embrace it and go with it, maybe, develop it and everything as you did, then you don't fear it anymore,
Yeah. It's just who you are. It's just the way your life is. It's just that's all. It's just the way you are.
I understand. No, that's pretty fascinating that your daughter has those abilities. That I know it's hereditary. I know it's hereditary. I've seen so many cases where parent a child or siblings or sometimes it skips a generation. It'll be the grandmother passing, the torch to the granddaughter kind of thing, Do you also like there's a lot of there's a lot of different schools of mediumship. Do you do anything with physical mediumship, like apports or bringing I don't know if you heard of ectoplasm or anything like that, where spirits can through portals or through orifices or whatever, they can actually project things into this world. Have you ever experienced that, or do you do anything with that, or is it strictly like mental mediumship that you practice?
It's mainly mental. It is mental that I practice. I have had mirrors break and lights flicker where they do things like that. I'm also a trance medium where they try to enter your body and use your body to talk.
Have you done that?
I don't want them in my body. No, I've had them slip in and out really quick, and I push them out. I will allow them to come in, and I can feel another soul in my body. There's two souls, mine and the discarnate, but I control it. so that I can push them out. I do not want another soul to have control of my body.
No, of course not.
So I just don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't think it's necessary. I do, when I start doing readings for people, many times I will start saying the very same words that the dead person used to say. I'll start using a tone of voice. I will walk like them or throw my arms around. I do it unconsciously, but that is them using my body. And if I allow them to go further, they would just take it over. And I don't want them to do that. I think they don't need to be that. I don't need that to pick up validating information and deliver facts to where I just become a, I'm just, I don't know the word I want to use, but I don't know. I don't let them take over my body completely.
No,
So
I understand.
I just don't like it. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Would you want that? Would you want?
No, I wouldn't want that either.
And controlling it, and they don't stay long when they stay, but I don't want them in there totally. No.
Yeah. I don't even like it. I don't even like it. Support takes over my computer screen from remotely, because they got to fix something.
Yeah.
So, to do that to your body, it's like a million times worse. Anyhow, you know what? We're almost out of time. Can you believe it? Like, this hour just flew by. Can you believe it? It was so fascinating talking to you that it's already time to kind of wrap it up. But before we do, Nancy, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you. And how far out are you booked? Like, tell us a little bit of, let's do a little plug for Nancy Marlowe.
Oh, well, that's nice of you. Well, you can write to me. There's a contact on my website, Contact Nancy. You can write to me. And
what is your website?
Well, it's NancyMarlowe.com.
NancyMarlowe.com, okay.
Yeah.
And that's Marlowe with there's an E at the end, right? MARLOWE. Okay. So www.nancymarlowe.com. All right. So, I mean, from the website, I guess people can book you right from there, correct?
Not right now. I am pretty well booked up for about a year or two. So, I've been doing this a long time. I have a lot of repeat customers. And and then I'll read for a day and skip for a day. So, anyway, I'm pretty well booked up right now, but, so thank goodness. That's wonderful.
No, that's great. That's great. That's, I mean, the good mediums, you're obviously, from what you describe, you're a strong beacon, and you really, you get the image very strongly. So that's amazing. So, folks, NancyMarlowe.com, go visit her, Google Nancy Marlowe. I'm sure it'll take you to their website and, just find out more about her. And I'm sure you won't be disappointed. So, Nancy,
thank you for doing this. Thank you for the radio program. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm very happy that I got to speak with you. And I'm sure
thank you for doing this for people.
Absolutely. Helping is one of the ways that I get over my grief, is by helping others. So that's why I do it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And everybody, thank you very much for listening. I will be back next month. And in the meantime, just know your loved ones are just a heartbeat away. They're as close as your nearest heartbeat. So good night, everybody. Thank you very much. Good night, Nancy.
Good night.